This is London with Bitcoin Spike and VIP Trader. We're going to close out the trade day. Former hedge fund owner, private, not SEC, not financial advice. We're going to look at Tesla. We're going to look at Bitcoin. We're going to look at NVDA. We're going to look at Solana. All right. Hope you're all doing well. We've got about 20 minutes left in the trade day. And as we are assessing the market right now, our VIP are in great shape. Nice trade op today, guys. We say a trade op, it's an opportunity. So looking at the framework today, we could start with Tesla with some great volatility, looking at a 7% move today. Bitcoin quiet after a pour down from the specific, we'll call it right now, on the top right of your screen, we will call it as a descending wedge. We do not mind a failed descending wedge. Why? Because it provides us with an upside target being the apex. Okay, you can see a nice distinction right now between Tesla on the left, which has recovered to the apex. Pay attention. Which has recovered to the apex of the falling wedge that has failed. It has operated. Guys, we have essentially a divergence. Pay attention, of pattern, okay? Pattern to price line. Divergence. In terms of the expectation of a falling wedge, we would expect it to break to the upside. The demand agreement of buyers on support, sellers on resistance. That demand agreement has a literal calculated level, a literal calculated endpoint on the market, an exact dollar amount which represents the demand agreement between the buyers on support, sellers on resistance. So when that demand agreement is broken and we see a divergence between the expectation of the buyers on support, sellers on resistance, we target the apex of the specific, that prior demand agreement in the form of a falling wedge. So the Tesla chart, yes, boom, this is VIP, guys. This is Bitcoin Spike. This is what makes us who we are, is this specific, I'd say, targeting function that we deploy, guys, all the time. All the time. This is just a beautiful chart, beautiful to see the opportunity. When I say op, guys, a trade op, it's an opportunity. That's our shorthand in terms of the back. Shout out to all the VIP. Shout out to Luke. Shout out to J-Mac. Special shout out to Venus. I hope you're doing well. Steve-O, I saw you in the back as well today. Shout out. Hope you're doing well. We've got Tony in the house as well. Tony, hope you're doing well. Chris, shout out to the land down under, big Aussie in the house. Hope everybody's doing well. As we look at the potential recoup for Bitcoin, moving a bit slower. We've got some action, some heated action coming into equities. So we need a catalyst, hopefully, guys, a nice catalyst to get us back to that specific demand agreement, that apex, the conclusion of the demand agreement on Bitcoin, of the buyers on support, sellers on resistance. If you listen to my last video on Bitcoin, I left it with this much said, that the moving average monthly was what, guys? Was below the level of support. It could throw some chaos into the equation. We got the chaos. You guys know. Nice drop, by the way. We traded it along the way down. We went for an approach higher margin, tighter stop loss on the way down. VIP made incredibly good money, guys, on the way up here. Caught this beautifully well. If you didn't catch the drop, hey, reset. I'll just tell you, hashtag next is what we say. Next. You got the next trade incoming, okay? Don't ever let the screen tell you that you didn't catch something. You immediately re-engage. Get back onto your technicals, find your next trade, and solve that problem. If you didn't catch something, don't let the screen tell you or the process tell you that you missed anything. You guys know we're better than that. In terms of the next opportunity, the problem is if you regret the function, let's say go through the function or the process of regretting that you missed the last trade, what are you likely to do? You're likely to miss the next trade, right? You're busy thinking about having not just caught the incredible trade you wanted to catch. Forget about it. Re-engage. Look at the next opportunity the market's going to bring you. That's the best advice I can bring you guys. What do I say? Collegiate advice in terms of that, not financial advice. You guys know we're not planning your future here financially. We're trading. Now, NVIDIA. Nice move, beautiful move. What did we have on NVIDIA? We had a very, very nice, and shout out, guys. Hope you're doing well. We had a very nice pick up along. There's Venus. Hey, Venus, nice to see you. Venus, boom. There we go. Huddle time, right? In terms of the pickup, okay, in terms of the pickup, we had a nice call on this. I don't know of anyone. I have to say this, guys. I don't know of anyone who called this specific pickup on on NVIDIA. Nicely done. Not that we're going to call everything like no one else has, but this was a nice pickup here. We engaged that nice opportunity to trade. Nice opportunity to trade. Venus, I know you caught that at some point in here. Nice pickup. Way to go. Just nice to see some action. We have that specific, and as I talk about, we have a very limited amount of time. We have 13 minutes until the close of the trade day. We have a big weekend that we have NVIDIA earnings, which NVIDIA has been the market driver. You all know NVIDIA has been the market driver in terms of propping up the NASDAQ, really giving some fuel to the tech sector. This AI, bedrock AI, isn't it? It's facilitating the residual of the AI push in terms of their chips, in terms of their technology is really at the forefront of the AI push. So it is the really macro driver, would you say? You would agree. It's the macro driver that we're looking at. And in terms of that, we have a report, earnings report incoming when? On Wednesday after the bell, okay? So the ideal was to, guys, the approach was to let's gear up for the specifics, and we'll talk about, let's say for that, let's say in preparation for Wednesday for the earnings release after the bell, is there going to be something that we can position into to really take advantage of that move? That's still on the table. We still have that catalyst on Wednesday. If you didn't catch this or didn't catch that, or you're waiting for Bitcoin, or you're, let's say you're trading the alts, I will say, guys, the alts had a great, excuse me, the alts had a, I'm yelling at them, huh? The alts had a great, for the record, I just did. The altcoins, the crypto asset altcoins have had a nice day of volatility to the downside. We've seen 3, 4, 5, almost 6% on some of these, a little bit more, but that's nice to see that level of volatility. Some people are more prone to long instead of short. If you're on both sides of the equation, you're happily doing well on your altcoins. Congratulations. I have Solana up here. Solana's been a good, nice liquidity coin. We also, I will say, we relay that back and forth right now with Matic. I'm looking at Matic because Matic has got some lower levels that are nearly expressing themselves that paid dramatically well. Now, as you grind in here lower and seek a consolidation level, I'll say you have one of two options. One, you catch the actual literal bottom. That's beautiful if you can literally do that, right? Fire and ice all the way. You guys know that. So fire and ice helps on catching the actual bottom or indicator. The other option is you go into and look at what is the preference that we have in terms of like a pattern trade, being a part of a pattern trade. One of the trade-offs, the advantages that you'll have is if you have an underlying position, if you have a lower position, and this fights against the psychology as we're about to close out. We've got about 10 minutes, and I'll jump into Tesla and NVIDIA here a little bit more broad spectrum or deeply in terms of the more deeply in terms of the analytics. But looking at the proper way, I'm going to say the proper way, the preferred way of getting involved in a pattern. Let's say a pattern, not on breakout. We will trade a breakout. Why do traders get involved in a breakout? Why would a trader get involved in a breakout? Because it is more accelerated price action, right? If you're getting involved in a move, let's say NVIDIA pre-breakout today, you want to be a part of the breakout. You want your money to move. So the trade out that we look at, while we understand it's always better, for instance, in a bull flag, to have a specific entry at a lower level, understand that it does fight the grain just a bit. It fights the, I'd say and this is just blowing up here, Tesla a bit with a flat top ascending line of support here. But that struggle that you're going to go through is if you're parking in below in a pattern, right, and gaining position, you're going to have to wrestle with that position a little bit longer, right? Then if you have a great pattern presented to you, and you're just looking to catch that accelerated move to the upside or to the downside. You guys know that. Or you're looking to, if it's a move to the upside, your shorts above or your longs below. If it's going to be a move to the downside. So I understand, as I'm talking continually about the fact we want to pre-position in a pattern. We want to beat that other guys. Every time you trade a breakout pattern, you have been beaten every time by someone who is pre-positioned. You know that. So I understand as well in that conversation that there is a dynamic in play where you want to be a part of the accelerated price action. You want your money to move quickly. You want to create returns more quickly and be more efficient in that regard. So it is a trade-off. We haven't really discussed that, at least for a while, but I do understand that, and it's noted, right? It's definitely noted. So, but it's nothing supernatural to get a position before you are, guys, exposed to the opportunity to trade a pattern. Now, what is the number one thing that we look for in terms of pre-positioning? Ideally, we look for what? We look for an expectation, or at least a target to the upside or a target to the downside. Expectation of recovery if you're doing managed futures, you guys got that. Or if you're in line with that, we'll just say, do you have a target, a valid target to the upside, right? Do you have a valid target to the downside? As we look at and schedule into, and I'll differentiate that as well. We need to talk about the two, I'd say that double-edged sword there in terms of a target to the upside or the downside. As you were to look at, and let me get in a little bit stronger here in terms of Tesla and NVIDIA. We'll go a little bit closer here on the, let's get into like the 1 minute on all these and drop them down. As we look at targets to the upside versus targets to the downside, right? That's a double-edged sword in terms of we may have a recoup, right? And this is NVIDIA on the bottom left. We may have a recoup move now on the 3 minute. It's powering up 8.3%. Very nicely done. The Tesla looking at 7%. Extremely well done. Twofold. You may have a return to, throwback, or pullback. Okay, that's one side of the sword. Okay, you may have a pay attention, this double-edged sword. You may have, and this is where it gets in terms of degree of involvement as we talk about looking at tomorrow and then looking at potentially Wednesday for involvement, or you look at your Bitcoin or any of your alts. I've got Solana featured here. As you were to look at the double-edged sword, one is going to be a pullback or a throwback to a pattern that is just completed. Copy that. The other is going to be a fractional completion and likely a degree of exposure that you're going to have as you're gaining the exposure, let's say towards a completed, target, a percentage, the fractional completion that we look at. Is the pattern going to complete to 50%? You got it, right? So we've got that double-edged sword. We have that. First of all, do we have a throwback? Question number one, do we have a throwback or a pullback, right? That's going to be what I'm saying. Do we have a target to the upside or the downside? Blackjack all day long, right? But if we're in a blackjack, we have a double bottom and a single pass-through on a descending triangle, what are we going to be looking at? We're going to be asking the question as to what is the level of completion below the descending triangle that's going to allow us to engage in that specific pullback move to the preceding flat bottom support on a descending triangle. Correct. So it is a discussion, it is a blending, a dovetail of the two issues in terms of a level of exposure, okay? A fine approach in terms of the detailed analytics that you can get into technically can sometimes solve that problem, can sometimes give you the answer. We're at the 23.6. Look at this pattern. I'm here, I'm there, in terms of, we're not going there in terms of, let's say, 23.6, 38.2, or the 50%. You may have your question answered through a micro pattern on the 23.6 in terms of a level of completion from the pattern that you're in and say, we're just not going. This is a strong bull run. It's not going down to the 38.2, or it's not going down to that 50% level of completion on the pattern, right? So therein lies part of the framework of how to battle that, the smaller time frames. But that double-edged sword is something, it's a matter of degree. So you need to be prepared for that level of, I'd say that blend that you're going to go through in terms of that degree of exposure. So the lower time frames, as you all know, is going to be part of that battle, and we'll get into that. Let's take a look. Let me drop out a little bit of Bitcoin. Bitcoin's been consolidating. The big worrisome feature, I'd say, on about the 15 or 30 minute, depending upon whether or not you're looking at USD or otherwise, is going to be about a flat bottom here. The market is paying attention to the flat bottom on Bitcoin. You all know that. As we were to look at let's go ahead and look at just a few minutes left. I don't want to dig into this too heavily, okay? But as we were to look at the specifics on Tesla, all right, so Tesla hit our target. Boom. Guys, every specific failed falling wedge is VIP turf. period. You know this. Nobody else is targeting wedge tactics, guys. You read all the books. Nobody's doing it. Bulkowski was interested in it. That's how I struck up a rapport with him. So looking at the framework here, as we were to look at Tesla, ideally, what are we looking at for at least a throwback, pullback to preceding level of support? This would be ideal. Our target, okay, has been achieved. We have currently, in terms of this apex, so we've got I'd say a level here, flat bottom support at what? And a nice upgrade today by Baird, appreciate the help, 241.19 is gonna be your preceding level of support, flat bottom support. We would expect a recovery to that level. I'll tell you, when Tesla shows up, she shows up and she allows you to trade. She will rip the socks off the market at times, but she shows up like today and just reinforce this so that you are not just sitting and wondering and guessing. Yes, we have higher targets on Tesla. Okay, we've got the specific cup and handle. I'll say we have a cup and handle that she's really trying to get aggressive. We got that specific. What is this, guys? We have the 4-hourly simple moving average at 235, which has to be beaten. Okay, we have to beat the 235. There above, we've got the 240, call it a 241, with the cup and handle that we covered in the back. Now, in terms of this, I'm just going to bring this up to your attention in terms of forecasting and take a position and go big, go heavy, and take a look at Tesla. What Tesla do? Parked right on the specific 20 moving average, brought this, guys, nice opportunity in the market. The 20 moving average today, boom, nicely done. Look at this, nice move. Guys, that's clearing nearly 5% from that 20 moving average on, and it's 4.9% on the hourly. Boom. Now, it's not easy. You got to identify that, and we did in the back in the first, 5 seconds, 10 seconds? You got to roll with it, okay? Now, she hung around for a while on the 20 moving average, but that hourly 20 moving average, you got to hit this stuff. You guys know that, huh? It's, you know, if you're not hitting it, somebody else is hitting it, okay? So that's the bottom line. Nice move today. Nice trade up opportunity. So what I'll say is, way to catch this. Way to catch the move today. In terms of projecting, yes, we have a 241 up top on Tesla. But you got in the market today, you cleared 4.9, nearly 5% on the market, just showing up the right way. And showing up the right way can pay, but you got to be quick, guys. You know that. So in terms of upside target, yes, we have an upside target, bottom line. Also have a gap below. You all know this, gap below with flat top. Resistance at 216. Be aware, right? Be aware. NVDA, real quickly. Just real quickly on NVIDIA. Let's go to the 4-hourly on NVIDIA. All right. The critical element here, we're at a preceding pivot to the left. Everybody's calling out NVIDIA like it's going out of style, right? Or it's just, it's the hottest thing at the party, right? You know that. Upgrades right and left. We've got that. Let's say we have the specific earnings coming in after the bell on Wednesday. The trajectory and the bull target, if you're in NVIDIA and you're long, what's the bull target? You got it right. Just now, next week, next month, if it wants to crawl sideways, perfect. This is your bull target, period. If you entered here, good job. We caught this line. Boom. All right. This is your target. And New York is closed on that specific. I'm just going to tell you, that's your target. That's my target. That's the way I trade, okay? So I see something like this, bulls have been in control, that's my target. If it spills out pitifully, it just rocks to the downside and the AI push in front is over and there's complication with the chips and production and manufacturing and everything's wrong, so be it. But that's the bull target to the top side of that channel. And I bring it to your attention to think like a bull. Think like this thing is pushing up. Think like this is an opportunity to trade the lights out on this thing. When it happens in crypto or Bitcoin or anything, we're doing it. When it happens in NVIDIA, we're doing it, okay? So nice pickup there. Nice pickup today in the back for hedge room. Boom. Nice level to focus on, right? When you guys ask me a lot of times, it's like, well, is it still going there? Shout out. Nice question in the back today. Is something still going where it was going? That happens when you had an opportunity to make some money and the market's asking you for some of your time. You know that. I say it all the time. The market wants your time, right? So if you've got things to do and you can close a trade out and you're in the money heavily and you just rocked it, we have been working with, what's up? There's J Mac in the house. What's up, J Mac? J Mac, my man. I saw that post. Good job. Thank you. Nice to see you, J Mac. And yeah, Venus, we called it. Yeah, we did. We paid attention to the markets and the technicals, and it paid well. Now, let's look just a second at something like let's step back into our bread and butter, which is crypto. It just is. I'll tell you though, it's 7% and 8.47%. NVDA 8.47%. We're rocking that, guys. We are rocking that. If you let your position go, it's just what a bull market will do, and what a bullish asset will do is make you regret letting go of it. If it's happened once or happened twice, it's okay. Show up and trade tomorrow. Not a big deal. We nailed this level of support here. Boom, on NVIDIA. Everybody else was screaming, and please be aware of this. When people are screaming low, 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 if you're attracted to the fear in the market, you will not do well, okay? If you're attracted to the fear in the market and the guys that are going to be right, and they make their living off being right every 2 out of 10 times, and they look like a sage wizard in the market, forget about it. I'm going to tell you, forget about it. You have to be plugged into the technicals. Look for your pickup. Stay balanced. Focus on New York Institute of Finance. Focus on Bulkowski. Forget that, guys, that garbage. If you see it on Bloomberg, you see it on CNBC, forget about it. All right? You are good enough, you all know this, to work on getting the right answers in terms of the market. There are times to push, there are times to be cautious. If you've just made a lot of money, maybe it's time to be cautious. But that's not time to completely down talk. I don't like the MO, that modus operandi, people showing up in the market and they're gonna be right 2 out of 10 times and they're scaring you the whole time. If you're right, you're right, but don't be wrong 5 and 6 times in a row and tell everyone you're right 100% of the time or whatever. It's not healthy. I just don't think it's healthy. So all to say, and now you'll see the side that I'm on, though. On the flip side of that, and I'll take full credit for it, is the top side resistance. And if you have been around or watched any of our old streams or been a part of our old trades, etc., and these top line resistances, let's hit it. Let's hit it. Let's get up, right? Let's be careful on it. Let's be careful to not throw over on a super trend and collapse the whole pricing structure. I've been guilty of that before. You guys know that. If you've been around a while, you're like, I'll hammer into this line. I just want it to break. I want it to go super trend, go parabolic, break the curve, right? So all to say, let's look at this pickup that we had. If you held it, good. If you didn't hold it, that's fine, okay? But looking at that's 16%. From the low to the high maximum, bring it up, not to tell you, well, you let it go, you didn't let it go. I want you guys to trade. I want this to be a group that trades. You got the hot hand today, will you have it tomorrow? You got the hot hand on that specific asset, maybe you'll have it on this one or not. Let it flow, let it develop. That's part of what being a good trader is. In terms of that, but 16% is nice in a period of, what is this, guys? In a period of week and a half, and about 7, 8, 9 days. Nice move on NVIDIA. The reason we're focused on just a lot of volatility. We don't want to miss it. If anybody's trading Dogecoin or SHIB, cool. Rock and roll it, guys. Rock and roll it. Enjoy what you enjoy trading and enjoy your profits. I mean that. There's nothing wrong with trading whatever you want to trade. So looking at the framework, let's talk about Bitcoin a little bit, okay? Because Bitcoin, and just 2 cents on Bitcoin in terms of my own commentary on the issue, on the matter. What hadn't we had a reaction to? And this explains it. In retrospect, this explains it. I said it to myself like 5, 10 times, and I'll say things out loud to my screen, just, not cursing at Bitcoin or otherwise, but I'll say things like, okay, we were about to have a big push to the upside on ETF. I'm watching the screens. I've got Bloomberg, CNBC. We've got it laid out here at HQ. And shout out to Venus. Hope you're doing well. Hope everything's going great. Pleasure to have been building with you. VIP all the way, Venus. Great to be trading with you. The issue that we have on, and you guys, we have to think through this on the collective, but this is just like screaming at me as I watched. Okay, we have the ETF, the speculation that there could be an approval on the ETF business. What happened? There was no approval. And what were we doing? We were sitting in this zone. And this, I mean, if you had a recorder of me screaming at the TVs and everything else, I'm like, what is this? We're going to bust through the upside on Bitcoin. And this was mentally where I was at, right? You guys can, I'm sure you thought the same thing, but looking at, well, we had a nice pattern with a need to break out through the upside here. Flat top resistance. We have this pattern in play. And it's like all we needed to do was get the news on the ETF and boom, we're up and out. What's the problem with that? They didn't get approved. And what were we doing? We were sitting in this zone. You guys know this, right? So sometimes I'll call a short card. A lot of times you guys are going to need to pull that short card out yourself right from the sleeve like the ace and put it on the table, okay? Sometimes I'll pull it out. The market can be very particular about who it allows to short. So you know me a little bit well enough. You just do. And the fact that I say that doesn't mean that I want to be particular about the shorts that we call, but you've got indicators, you've got things to use. But that was my thought process here is, what are you doing? I mean, I want a legitimate market to participate in, right? This ghost move that Bitcoin made down through the 200 weekly moving average, dang, if you didn't watch that live, if you didn't trade that live, you don't know what it was talking about. It was mean, okay? Plan of attack, weekly 20 moving average, small hiccup, right? Yeah, monthly 20 moving average, few nice little trades, made some money. Then the monthly, after the monthly was the 200 weekly, and sayonara, goodbye, you got trapped. I'll tell you, you got trapped on that. Let's look at the heat map, 200 weekly moving average. Now you hit nicely into, this is a charade of a game that Bitcoin's playing right now. Let's talk about it. Let's digest it, okay? I had an old indicator I'd shown you guys a while back, trend is your friend, okay? The trend is your friend, I just liked it. Nice colors, this and that. I'm like, yeah, we'll look at this for a minute. What it had was the following. It has EMA 200. Yep, it has your EMA 200s. Now, if you're looking at your weekly, let's pay attention. If you're looking at your weekly, we did not hit the tried, trusted, and true. And look at that 200 weekly. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your line, period. That's the line. If you know your charts, that has been the line. A difficult line became this year a difficult line, bit of a surprise. A lot of interaction on this line. Now, as we look at the 200 weekly, we just decided all of a sudden to literally come into and play perfect tone, pitch, guys, sequence, everything coordinated down to the 200 exponential weekly moving average. It's a big deal. It's a big deal to throw a curveball like that at the market. You guys got to know it's a big deal. So we have to be prepared for, right, a lot at the same time. When we can show up in the market like today, and I'll just say that's the level of variability. Big time level of variability hasn't come into really question, and we could say it came into question here. It just hasn't been the key focal. Let's look back here. Yeah, to the extent to operate a little bit more below here, it was just the deciding, let's say the decisive, the decision went to, the heavyweight belt went to that 200 weekly simple moving average. All right, you can back test it, take a look at it. So the fact that the exponential is back in play, we note it. We note such, okay? The important part to recognize as well as we were passing through any of, and I'll just say, guys, it's the equivalent of needing to be ready to show up in the market. And you know, you got to be able to show up. You know this, right? It's just, and that's what we like about the market. It challenges us. In the first 5 seconds of Tesla today, what did we need to do? In the first 5 seconds, we needed to identify, and we did identify in the back that we're on the hourly time frame. We are literally opening right up and over the hourly time frame. But this gave you, Tesla gave you, okay, before making a huge, just a nice move for Tesla, guys, to the upside. But she opened up right up and above the 20 moving average. So what do we know? Well, we have, first 5 seconds, I'm just saying this because this is what the market will demand of you. The good thing is you're capable of doing it. We did it in the back. but you're capable of doing this. Together, we got this. We're looking at that I brought to you, the 20 moving average. Looking at that, understand the mentality of, okay, we're up and over the 20. We have an upside target in terms of the top side of the band, the standard deviation for the Bollinger on the hourly. Bam, bam. Identify what's in play. Technically, bam, you got to identify what's technically in play. What's the fallout? What's the next, right? It's not just identifying where price is at, 20 moving average, but immediately knowing that gives us the second part of that thought before you can think it is literally, which means we have that upside band as a target, right? Yes. So that's relevant to the extent of what? Pardon. To the extent that you could play Bitcoin like that with the level of volatility that was involved, okay? With the level of volatility that was involved as we were hitting in last week on the specific 20 moving average on the weekly, really the daily up and above in this zone, the daily, the weekly, the monthly, the 200, but we crossed down and under, you know this, we crossed down and under the specific 20 moving average on the weekly. What did we do? What immediately, the same thing in terms of that level of quickness that you need to deploy in the market, same thing that happened to Tesla first 5 seconds. We caught it today. As we're going through higher levels of margin with tighter stop losses, my concern as we're trading this to the downside is, are these guys really structured in with tight stop losses on heavier margin? I know there's a short, you know there's a short. As we're going through these, my ultimate concern is, I've told everybody 50 million times that if you're playing with higher margin, you've got tighter stop losses. I talk about losing $200, right? Can you structure your trades with higher margin and literally a $200 stop loss? Boom, beautiful, right? So understand that, yes, that's in play the same, and it was a beautiful completion to the downside, bottom side of the band on Bitcoin last week. Perfect, perfect, but it doesn't go without saying. As you're processing and learning to potentially work with larger amounts of margin, what I'll say is, as you do that, tread carefully. Do not overload yourself. Do not do that at all. You cannot do that, okay? So if you're trying to wear too many hats, guys, it's only so much that can happen at once. Before that, I'll say that kind of the acceleration of your skill set develops, like Tesla this morning. Bam, bam, here we go. Bam, let's do it. Knowing that when we're working with something a little bit fresh and new, a little bit the idea of higher margin with a tighter stop loss, okay? It's, heavyweight bout time. It's like, we don't need two heavyweights fighting you or me in the ring at the same time, right? So work on your skill set, but do understand that same level of quickness and speed came into the equation, that this wasn't extraordinary, that 200 weekly wasn't extraordinarily aggressively planned. It looked, felt, acted, planned, okay? Deployed, literally, boom, to the downside through this level. So just understand that if you caught part of this move, congratulations. If you are in the money right now, congratulations. If it went lower than what you wanted Bitcoin to go, did you have orders waiting at the 38.2? Orders are stacked, guys. They are stacked. Ladders and scales are built for whales. They're stacked, all right? So don't ever be upset about a move going down. If you've got your targets in play, that's the idea. So I wanted to come real quickly, just shout out to the VIP, talk a little bit about that Bitcoin move on Friday. Real aggressive, but we didn't get, what we got was, we need to note this, we didn't get the ETF approval. We were hanging out in no man's land. We got the potential catalyst being SpaceX unloading, as we were informed via Wall Street Journal, SpaceX telling us that they unloaded Bitcoin off the balance sheet. Fine, that was in the morning. We're still hanging out looking for price action. Just, we have to say it was convenient for us, wasn't it? Because we happened to be in the back and we happen to be trading, so there are no complaints. Nicely done. If you got any practicum in here. The good thing is the drop was the drop. You have opportunity fully to trade right now. Anybody that booked any trades on the way down, or if you got stopped out, please listen. If you got stopped out and you got stopped out at like $200 on a large margin position, way to trade. Way to trade. Put it on the map with the exchange that you're one of those guys that's going to precision exactly specify what he wants in the market. Be that guy, be that girl. Tell the market maker, tell the exchange, I'm going exactly right here. And do the work in the background. Make sure that you know exactly where something is going. Demand that level of precision. You'll catch them. I'm just going to tell you, you're going to catch them, okay? And not you're going to catch the exchange offsides, this or that, but whatever you plan into the markets, however you decide to structure into the market, you guys are good enough. I know this. I know this. You guys, I say something like this, I know this because I've been around traders, some top line, top shelf, #1 guys, okay? So when I say I know this, it's about you. I'm going to just tell you this. You guys are good enough. I know, when I say I know this because I've been around literally some of the #1s, I've hired them, etc. So I know how good you are. Don't cut yourself short, okay, at all. Don't cut yourself short. So as I know you guys don't, but just operate in that mindset within reason, definitely within a protective, just a reasonable element. We never Doge is flying up again. Not sure why, flying up on the chart, not up in price. But I don't know why Doge is. I went to go to Sol. Okay, the indicators you guys know. The daily caught it on, I think, everything on our cap line, didn't it? It just did. We will be finishing out our indicator suite soon, okay? Soon. It is incoming. You can see on the screen here, we've got a lot of additional information. It's gonna be nice. You guys are gonna have a pro setup. I really, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to bring in one of my good buddy guys from BlackRock, and I'm gonna show him this. And I'm gonna have him tell me whether or not it's pro level. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bring him in. He can come in next week or whenever, and I'll see what he thinks. But you guys are gonna have it. It's gonna be fantastic. Looking forward to it. And let's go get them, guys. Let's go get in the back. Upside targets, you guys already heard on Tesla, etc. On NVDA, yes, we do have upside targets. And what are we cautious of? We're cautious of the fact when the market gets you looking a specific direction, pay attention. When the market has got you pointing that direction, ooh, look at that, that's where we're going. That's when you need to, bravo, settle on back just a little bit and say, well, maybe if the whole market's pointing that direction, we should look the other direction. Absolutely. Not to be a contrarian, 24/7, 365 contrarian, but start to really explore, hone in on, and look for any signal, clue, intimation that the market could be ready to, not exactly do otherwise. Let's say not exactly do what everyone's expecting and rather do, corrected, otherwise. What would that be here on Tesla? On Tesla, it would be apply this to all your assets, 30-second, it would be, okay, cup and handle, okay, and cup and handle, we're at the 50% max probability, okay? Hey, so upside target, sure. Difficult market. Tesla is in a downtrend. We just hit, and this is nice, huh? We just hit that specific apex. Way to go, huh? That's our we got our signature on that one. Congratulations, guys. I'm gonna let you all go. We'll be in the back. Thanks for tuning in just a little bit and wanted to come say hi, just kind of explore some of the technicals and shout out because we had a great day. Hey, we pick up on action like that every day. We're gonna be, we're not gonna have 7-8% moves on either Tesla, NVIDIA, Bitcoin, or otherwise. But what a great day to re-hit into the market, guys. After last week and with Bitcoin, if you felt like you missed any of that part of that move, forget about it. Let's get back into the markets. Boom, huh? Nicely done. Thank you to everybody who made that possible. This is London with Bitcoin Spike and VIP Trader. We will talk to you soon. I'll try and come to you tomorrow again so we can have a little bit of a huddle. We'll be in the back. Focus, huh? Where's the bottom of Bitcoin? Where is it? We want to get it. Okay, where is it? We want to get it. We're going to be working on it in the back. We'll talk to you soon. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.